Hello, everyone. My name is Megan Graham, and I just wanted to come on here for a few minutes today and to talk to you about the LifeWave patches. I thought I would come on and just give you a simple explanation of how the patches work. So, first of all, I am not a scientist, so I'm not going to give you a deeply scientific explanation. But I wanted to come on here because when I first heard about these patches, my initial reaction was I was honestly mad. I thought that they must be fake. I heard all of these stories and testimonials, and it was truly beyond me. If you haven't seen the patches, if you're not wearing them, they are very, very simple. It looks like a sticker. There's a little bit of a backing on it. And it just, to me, I think I was so used to most products in the wellness space, in the health space, they function by putting something into your body. So obviously, I take my supplements. I have even a couple of prescriptions that I take. And so that is a very different delivery. Most people are used to something going into the body, something changes, maybe we feel different. And when I heard about these patches, to me, it didn't really make any sense. How could anything possibly make a difference if it wasn't putting anything into the body? And you can see that a lot of people still think that these patches are transdermal, meaning putting a substance into the body, because people are constantly asking, but what is in the patches? And it sounds really funny, but it almost doesn't matter what is in the patches because they are non-transdermal, meaning that you put them onto your skin, and the mechanism in which they work is they are not putting a chemical, a drug, a stimulant into your body. They're actually working basically by sending your body a signal. And the easiest way that I can really describe the patches is, do you know how your body is able to walk outside in the sunshine, have sunshine at a certain time of the day shine onto your skin, and your body is able to take that light signal and turn it into vitamin D? It has the ability to perform certain biological functions through light. Now, I think where it gets a little bit confusing is people hear, okay, so these patches are functioning with the light from your body. What does that mean? The light from your body is simply infrared heat. I personally actually own an infrared camera, and it's very cool to look at your loved ones with that camera because you're going to see that heat signature around their body. It's something that everybody has. If you're alive, you have infrared heat, and that is the light that your body produces. So when you put these patches on, they are working with your body's infrared heat, which means you don't have to have them. You can see I'm wearing my LifeWave X39 patch right here, but I could just as easily be wearing it right inside my shirt right here, and it doesn't need to be exposed to light because, again, it is working off your infrared heat, which is light. All that this patch does I always have to be very careful when I'm explaining it because there are certain things that I know that it does that I can't say that it does. It's just not compliant of me to do so. So I'm going to give you the most simple explanation. But basically, you put this patch on your body for a finite amount of time, up to 12 hours, although when I'm working with people personally, we usually personalize that amount of time. It's not always 12 hours. Sometimes it is. Maybe sometimes they start at a different amount of time. But either way, you're wearing this for a finite amount of time, and it is simply signaling and encouraging your body to do certain biological processes that it has always done. But as we age, many of those, unfortunately, biological processes slow down. They're not as effective. They may not come to a complete halt, but they're so slow as we age. So I'm 49, and even at the age of 49, some of these processes and some of these master cells, like in my body, are not working as well as they did when I was 18. And it's not something that I like, but it's just simply something that happens to all of us. Our bodies slow down with time. And the patch was basically invented and made to encourage your body to do certain processes better. I think of the patches like a tune-up for my body. They're not magic. They're not impossible. They're not a scam. They're simply giving your body a gentle push to do something that it already does. It already knows how to do, but it may just be flailing and not doing it extremely well. One thing that I always like to say is that, I mean, for me, they have been a miracle and they have made so many changes, but I do always like to specify they're not a treatment, they're not a cure. And also, of course, this is not medical advice, it's just educational, and I'm just sharing what I know about them. The way that I look at it is these patches give my body a huge push. For me, I have noticed that I feel more the way that I want to feel. That's the best way to explain it. And I don't make direct claims about them. And, first of all, we're not allowed to do so. Secondly, everybody's body is different. So everyone's body is going to react a little bit differently to these, and it all depends on the other things that you're doing as well. So just some really quick, simple tips. If you are starting out with these patches, first of all, start simply. I know that you're going to see that there's 8 or 10 patches that LifeWave makes. And when you look through the descriptions, it's extremely tempting to want to put all those patches on your body all at once. I really like to start people off simply. I personally love the X39 patch. There are sometimes other, patches that we might want to start people off with, but my favorite way to start folks off on these patches is very simply with one patch. And then with my clients, usually we have a discussion. Maybe I check in with them or they check in with me. And if they need something extra for support, there are different patches that target different things. But personally, I don't start out with all of them right away. So that is one kind of important thing. And as far as hydration, this is one of the most important things. I've been thinking a lot about hydration, so I just wanted to talk to you about this really quickly. People think hydration, it's okay. People think hydration and they just think, I should drink so much water and that will hydrate me. But kind of an interesting fact, electrolytes are very important when you are getting hydrated. And I'm not trying to sell you electrolytes, but definitely consider and maybe read up a little bit about it if you want your body to actually be able to use that hydration, get it into your cells. You might want to consider something like I put Vera sea salt, which is VERA sea salt, into each glass of water, and it's microplastic free. It's great salt, generally speaking, but it actually helps me to get my electrolytes up. I also use something called Element. It's spelled LMNT, and it's a very salty electrolyte, but it has sodium and potassium, just so that I can make sure that I am very, very hydrated. I live out west. Today it's actually 105 degrees outside, so hydration is super important. The signal that this patch sends needs your body to be properly hydrated. And if your body isn't properly hydrated, it's not going to be able to signal in the correct way. So please, if you are using the patches, and obviously consult your doctor, make sure that hydration is the way that it should be just for you, but look into hydration and make sure that you are actually hydrated. There are actually lots of different places that you can put the X39 patch. That's it. Sorry, just looking at these questions. That's a great question. And Mo says, I do Celtic sea salt and 1 lemon in my water daily. That's super good for you. I think lemon in your water is so healthy for you, as well as Celtic sea salt. Little trick. So when I do put lemon in my water, I always drink it through a glass straw, because too much lemon juice can actually wear off the enamel of your teeth. Because of the acidity. So I always drink it from a straw, just because I'm always trying to keep my teeth nice. I feel like they weaken a little bit with age, so I'm doing everything I can to keep them nice and strong. So as far as the hydration, though, really think about that hydration, because not only does your body require water for every single function that it does, but also, let's say your body is detoxifying. Water is so important, and water is going to help you flush everything away. There have definitely been times in my life when I was working as a hairstylist, I was not good about hydration, and it was just amazing how my appetite would increase when I was thirsty. I got really tired, and certain things just weren't working for me. Adding salt to my water has made such a significant difference. There's actually, Poppy, my dog, always comes next to me during filming, and she doesn't cough all day. She waits literally until I'm filming, and then she just starts to like softly cough next to me. It's possible that it's purposeful, but I'm not sure. Anyway, so just wanted to touch base with you on the hydration. I was using Cure electrolytes, but I actually felt that they didn't have enough salt. I've actually been listening to an audiobook. I forget the title. It's either the Salt Fix or the Salt Cure, but it's very interesting, and it talks about how we used to consume so much more sodium. We're just not consuming as much sodium now, and the science about not having sodium it's actually very iffy. So we already talked about adding more patches as needed later. I know I cover this all the time, but I literally try to cover it with every video, because as much as I cover it, I will then see people's orders where they're ordering like 3 and 4 patches. And honestly, I usually, if they're my clients, I usually write them, because obviously I can't see everybody's orders, but I usually write them and I suggest, hey, what about if you start with this patch and then you consider adding this patch, at month 1 and this patch at month 3. And I know that I could encourage people to purchase a lot of patches at the same time. It would actually make me more money, but more than money, I would rather people have a smooth transition with the patches. That is the most important thing to me. So starting slowly is going to make a huge difference. And this is one that I can't tell everybody how to do, but truly, as you are wearing these patches, track how you're feeling. So I send my clients out a tracker where they can track their symptoms. They can track how they're feeling in the beginning. They can track how they're feeling, month 2, month 3. You want to personalize the experience of wearing the patches to your body, to how you're feeling personally. Your body is not like everybody else's body. So how you add your patches in may be different, how long you wear your patches and what patches you wear. Those are probably all going to be very personal things. So just know that sometimes you may need to experiment a little bit. You may need to work with your brand partner and talk to them about what might be the most helpful and supportive for you. And if you're running into things, obviously, if you're having medical problems, see your doctor, clearly. But if you are just trying to figure out little things like, gee, what might be supportive, for me at this point, talk to your brand partner, ask them what would be helpful. I think most people that do this really love to help people, and they do it because they want other people to feel their best and to feel the way that they're hoping to feel. I know that before I started these patches, I was really at an all-time low physically in my life. And even though I was seeing my doctor, I have a doctor that I see every 3 months because I actually became disabled. And so I had to see, part of seeing my doctor is that you actually sign an agreement that you see her every 3 months because she wants to see quite a bit of blood work. And she's a wonderful doctor. I'm not saying anything negative about her. She's absolutely fantastic, and she's figured out a lot of things for me. But there was just still this nagging feeling of my energy levels and my sleep and my skin were all so bad, and I was having various other issues. And so for me, I think I had lost hope on ever feeling good. I don't know if anyone's ever been in that sort of frame of mind, but I felt terrible. And at the time, so I'm 49 now, I was 47 when I started. But when I started out, I was 47, and people would look at me and they'd say, "You look great." And that was the worst part, that I still looked, for the most part, when I put makeup on, when I did my hair. I have a background in the beauty business and I could look good, but I didn't feel good. I actually felt awful. And so when I started wearing the patches, what I noticed was that everything that I was doing just worked better. It didn't mean that I needed to stop seeing my doctor. It didn't mean that I didn't need to get labs, but it gave me a push for everything that I was doing. And it seemed to help with the synchronicity of everything. Mo said, I would like to change my brand partner to you as my brand partner. Is that possible? For the most part, Mo, that is such a compliment, and I appreciate it so much. For the most part, LifeWave, once you have a brand partner, they don't let you switch brand partners. So whoever you sign up with is your source of support. The only thing that I have ever seen is when people sign up as, and I'm not encouraging anybody to switch, but when people sign up as preferred customers, that is one kind of account. And when people sign up as brand partners, I believe even if they signed up with one person as a preferred customer, it's like starting a brand new account. So at that point, LifeWave lets you switch. But if you signed up with someone as a brand partner, no, they don't. From what I know, they don't let you switch. I think the only way that they let you switch is if you usually wait 6 months and then they let you switch, from what I know. But LifeWave knows more than I do. So that's just a little bit of info. So listen to your body, listen to the signals, listen to the things it's telling you. That's super, super important. Hello, Mark. Thanks for joining. Mark says, yes, X39 can be placed anywhere in the body. That's awesome. And yes, our bodies do incredible things with this amazing technology. That is so true. So the other thing I just wanted to mention, and I have just had such wonderful results with this. If you haven't tried Celergize is LifeWave's supplement. And I'm specifically talking about the morning supplement. I still haven't tried the evening supplement. I love their products, but there's a lot of other things that I take for various reasons. So I haven't quite worked that one into my repertoire of products, although I plan to at some point in the future. But if you haven't tried Celergize, I was very cynical. I'm not an early adopter. I don't like trying new stuff. It took me, I think, 6 to 12 months to try this patch when someone told me about it. But I saw Celergize. It had a lot of things in it. I was sitting back. I wasn't sure about it. And LifeWave sent me Celergize. And so it sat for a month or two, and I finally tried it. And Celergize is actually great. It is so great. It tastes good. It doesn't taste bad in any way. I'm always like, will it taste good? How is this going to be to drink? It tastes good. It's not bad. But most importantly, what I have been noticing is that many, many people are deficient in certain things that they need for the patch to work. It's that simple. So I'm not telling you you should take this supplement because, as we all know, you have to make sure that you are clear to take it. Check with your doctor, do all the things. So I can't say you should take Celergize. But what I can say is that I have noticed across the board that when my clients take Celergize, they are having really amazing results. I'm hearing some really good testimonials. They are very, very happy. And I'm happy that I recommended it to them. I don't know how to say this. I'm very respectful of the fact that everybody has a finite amount of money to spend in life. So I don't want to push people to buy a lot. But what I do want to do is to recommend things that really move the needle for how things work, for how people feel, generally speaking, and whether people get results or not. So a very, very, very great thing that I have seen is when people just simple as pairing 39 and Celergize together. And again, listening to your body. So I don't start supplements at the full dose. So I listen to my body, I chart everything out, and I start things slowly. But those things can make a big difference. Obviously, there's more to the patches than just this, but they work very simply. It's your body's infrared heat. They're encouraging your body to do things that it always did before. And for me personally, what it looked like for me was very gentle, cumulative effects over time. So within about 2 weeks, I just noticed a tiny bit more stamina. At the time, when I started these patches, I was so tired. I was in my bed a lot. My husband would bring me my dinner in bed because I was having trouble sitting up. And I'm a very proud person. So if you saw me out and about during those times, you probably wouldn't know how I actually felt inside. You'd probably look at me and be like, this lady's fine. She's not having any issues. But at home, I wasn't able to clean the house. I wasn't able to walk the dogs. I wasn't able to drive. I was exhausted all the time and feeling terrible all the time. Within the first 2 weeks, I don't want you to think I put this patch on and I was like, wow, I'm all fresh. I'm all better. That's not at all how the experience was for me in any way. And I would never misrepresent it to be like that, although it would be great if it was. But for me, it was smaller changes. So it was, first of all, starting to feel like I was falling asleep better. That was something that I noticed within a few weeks, that I wasn't struggling as much to fall asleep. I had been taking things to fall asleep for 20 years, which I know isn't good, and I'm not proud of it, but it was what I needed at the time to fall asleep. And I started just going, it feels like I'm falling asleep. Like, this is interesting. And so I started not taking as much to fall asleep. It wasn't anything that my doctor had given me. It was over the counter, and I gradually started cutting it back. And I'm not telling you should cut back on your medicine, so please don't read it that way. But that was what I did personally. 2 months in, I was no longer taking anything over the counter to sleep. I was sleeping for the first time in 20 years. 2 weeks in, I noticed a very subtle change in my stamina. I noticed that I was able to take my dogs on a 5-minute walk. I was starting to get up and maybe like make a salad with my husband, I was still on the couch a lot. I was still resting a lot, but I was able to do more things. Within a month, I felt strong enough. It was hard, but I was able to travel back and see my family for the first time in 2 years. And then over the course of the next several months, it's almost like I started getting little gifts, like little changes in my body. Again, not a cure, not a treatment, right? But I noticed I felt like things were accelerating and I was moving towards the person that I wanted to be instead of this terrible place of not having the energy to do things. So I started, my skin started to clear up, which was really interesting. And I was also doing other things, always very clear about that. The patches were not the only thing I did. And I cannot stress that enough because I know that one of the things that I do when I speak to clients is I find out, what else are you doing? What have you already tried? And I like to make sure that people actually are seeing someone that's helping them. So whatever they're dealing with, you have a practitioner, you have a functional doctor, you have someone that's actually helping you that you can talk to, that's giving you labs. That's really important. Not medical advice, but just making sure that people actually have someone to talk to that's knowledgeable. But I started getting these little gifts over time. Where my legs weren't aching all the time like they used to, where the headaches that I used to get all the time started spacing out. So it used to be that I got terrible headaches like every 2 weeks, and then they were spaced out to 4 weeks, and then they were spaced out to 3 months. And this took a long time. Where I see people talking about the patches many times, it's like everything changed overnight. That is a super high bar to set. And do some people that I talk to feel very fast changes? Yes, I've gotten testimonials, I've gotten reports from people where within 2 to 4 weeks they felt very different. For me, what I find more so with my clients and the people I work with is that it is over time, that it is over several months, and that it is cumulative and gentle and slow and gradual, and isn't that the best way for your body? So I always like to set realistic expectations. I know some people don't like to hear that because they want things so quickly, and some people will say, well, that's a waste, and I don't want slow things, and it should happen overnight. It's not a drug. It's not a drug, it's not a cure, it's not overnight, it's not surgery. This is a totally different wellness push. And it's important to go into it with your eyes open and know that it's a gentle thing. The way that I look at it, at 49, if I'm improving, if I'm feeling more like my old self, the way that I want to be, if my skin is looking better, like my hair is thicker, that's just me personally. If I am more the way that I want to be, then that's wonderful. If I am not getting worse and how I feel is improving, then that is a fantastic gift because that is not how things usually happen at the age of 49. So every single % that I change is worth it. But I like to have very realistic expectations about what to expect. So I hope that this was helpful for you. I always just try to really explain that these are amazing. When I talk about the patches, first of all, I have to be very compliant. There's certain things that I can say. There's so much more that I know that they can do than I can actually say on YouTube. So it's always like a challenge for me because when I show up on YouTube, I'm a little bit tongue-tied because I know the science and I know what they actually do. And I know that it's very amazing. And I also feel that they're the best value in the entire world for what they do. But I also like to set realistic expectations because it's important that when you start the patches, you're still taking care of your body. You have good sleep hygiene, you're eating nutritious things, and you're doing your best to manage your stress levels, which, by the way, doesn't mean avoiding stress. None of us in our lives can avoid stress, but it means finding ways that we can process things that are stressful in our lives and that we can grow our muscles so we can handle more stress. So I hope this was helpful. I always love coming on and talking to you guys. And I have to say that the patches have been they've made an extraordinary difference in my life, in how I feel and how I'm able to do things. And I never in a million years. So I retired. I was a hair colorist for years and years. I owned my own salon in Boston on Newbury Street. It was very successful. It was very busy. I was like, out of all my mom's kids, I was the kid that was like the business person, the go-getter. I had, two assistants working at my house. I worked all the time. I was like the lady. Have you ever seen the lady in the Hallmark movies that works too much? That was me. And it wound up being that working with chemicals for 24 years wasn't really that great for my body. And that was really kind of the start of why I started having autoimmune issues. Um, and so I remember when I got sick initially, just thinking, I really missed working. I really missed doing stuff, because one of my favorite things about running my salon was making people feel beautiful and having somebody walk in to see me and having them leave and feel more beautiful and confident and know new things and just walk out of my salon. I'm kind of a better person, if that makes any sense. And when I left that job, I did not know, when I became disabled, I did not know what I would ever be able to do again. I couldn't think of a job that I could possibly do, because I became so sensitive to new environments and things like that. And so anyway, my story with the patches wound up being not only that I wore them, but also that I started consulting people and helping them with their journey with the patches and helping them figure out what patches would be supportive for them, and little tips and tricks of things that I learned. And so I found a different way to help people. So it wasn't doing their hair anymore. It was just a different career, if you will. But ever since I started doing that, I feel like I found a calling, and I found something that was more useful than what I used to do. I really enjoyed making people beautiful, and I really enjoyed doing hair. But when it came to that point where I couldn't do it anymore and I couldn't stand with chemicals all the time, I was very, very happy to find something else that gave me a purpose. So just wanted to say that's why I come on here, and that is why I do what I do. It also gives me a purpose to be able to share information that hopefully helps other people feel a little bit better in their own skin, because I know what it feels like to wake up every day and just wait for the day that you're going to feel good. Mo says, I've been on the patches for 2 years and they have healed my body in so many ways. I will never get off of them. That's exactly how I feel about them, Mo, as well. It's interesting because a lot of times people will ask me, can I just wear these for a while and stop wearing them? And you can, but it's always an interesting question to me. I know they're not inexpensive. I know it's an investment, but I think if it's taught me anything, having the experience of getting so sick that I couldn't get out of bed, when I find something that truly makes a difference for me, I'm never going to take it off my body. So I feel the same way. I will always wear these patches as well. And Mark says consistency and time is what brings the most results. And it really does, because it's so cumulative. So you're about my age. It says now 3 years of patching and you just turned 50 and you're more fit than you were in your 30s. Yeah, they are a gift, Mark. And I think that's why so many people share them. And that is always why I want to explain the simplicity of them and just a basic understanding, because I think that when people understand that they are cumulative and that it does take time to see the results, then they're going to have more realistic expectations. Because I've had people, I remember I gave some people in my building a sample, and it was so funny. I was just giving them a sample for a few days, which I don't even usually do. They just really wanted to try them. And they were like, oh, we use them for 2 days and they don't work. And I was like, that's not how they work. The patches are they starting to do things in 2 days? Sure. But is 2 days going to make a significant difference in your body? Not at all. It's not going to make a significant difference. And so I think when you set that realistic expectation of the patches, we just start to understand, okay, it's like exercise. We moved to this building about 5 months ago, and I started weight training again because our last apartment, unfortunately, wasn't a good environment and I wasn't feeling good. So I had stopped working out and I lost all my muscle. And I know that at 49 years old, when I want to put on some lean muscle again, it's not going to happen overnight. For me, 3 months into weight training and, drinking my delicious Kono protein after I work out, wearing my patches, resting, 3 months in, I'm starting to see some tiny changes. 6 months in, I'm really starting to see changes. But most people go to the gym for 12 days and they're like, I give up. I don't look that different. And in reality, it takes a really long time. And hello, Jesse. It's nice to see you. Jesse says, same here, except I've been on X39 for about a year now, and I too will wear them for the rest of my life. I think that they are the most amazing investment in your health. And that is the thing that it taught me when I hit my all-time low at 47, when I couldn't get out of bed, when I couldn't drive, and I just couldn't do the things that I really wanted to do. I mean, when I was at my sickest, it affected my brain, and I was having trouble. The reason I was having trouble driving is I was having so much trouble with my memory at 47. So they were doing brain scans to see what was wrong with me. And I think when you have that experience of hitting an all-time low, the way that you value your body and your health and the way that you look at things is so different. You know, I used to spend my money on clothes and just things that I probably wasn't going to have forever. And I'm really, really careful about what I buy now because it has to be just right. By the way, Jesse, you're going to know what this is. I won't say exactly what it is, but I did just make a pretty major purchase, and it is a Nighthawk. You'll know what it is. But anyway, it's awesome, but I don't usually do that anymore. So Jesse says, after adding X39 a few months back, I'm now noticing my body shape change, weird but good. I mean, I think that's amazing. And it's very hard to change your body. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I will say that body changes for me, like adding on lean muscle after 40, is much harder than when I was 28 and I was doing fitness competitions and I wanted to change things. So for me, anything that moves the needle in the direction of better, not worse, is a really good thing. So I hope this was helpful for you, and I hope that it just gives you some ideas. If you have not tried Cellergize, I don't care if you're my client, if you're not my client, look into the Cellergize and just realize that David Schmidt, the creator of the patches, he created Cellergize to unlock the benefits of the patches for people. Because if you look at the label and you see all of the things that he built into that supplement, it's the perfect storm in a really good way of giving your body the things that you have. Your nutrition is going to have holes like Swiss cheese, and the Cellergize is meant to fill those things in. So if you're a vegetarian, or if you're a vegan, or even just if you're like me, I will just be honest, my nutrition doesn't always cover all the bases. And the Cellergize helps to fill it in with the things that you need for the patches to work. And not only for the things that you need for the patches to work, but some really, really important things that help your body with things like detoxification and actually running properly. So it's not just for the patches, it's just a fantastic everyday supplement. So just know, I don't work for the company. I don't get anything when most of you guys are buying Cellergize, but I want you to know it does make a big difference. And it's like a little, you got this patch. For many people, say you try this and you're like, oh, I feel like I was hoping it would do more. If you're not taking the Cellergize, if you're not hydrating as well, don't judge it, because you're not doing everything that you can for it to work. And that's the truth. So Jesse says, Cellergize is awesome. I use it every day now too. It's so awesome, and it saves you so much money, because if you were to buy all those supplements together, first of all, it would be so unpleasant because they're not going to put them in a nice little drink mix. And trust me, taking a handful of supplements a day that you have to choke down is not that pleasant. Drinking nice citrusy Cellergize is refreshing, and it's so, so good. But the difference, I just signed up. I was helping 2 new clients of mine. They're married, and we had a phone call, and we were just kind of going over their goals, how they are now, where they're hoping to be, what they've been doing. I like to ask a lot of questions. I'm just an absolute pain in the butt sometimes when I get on the phone, but I really want to know what's going on with people so I can better help them. And when I found out that they weren't eating meat, I was like, non-negotiable. I would look into the Cellergize. It is amazing. And when I got their testimonial back after 2 weeks, and then 3 weeks, and then 4 weeks, it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible to hear the changes that were positive, that were already happening for them. So it's really, really worth it to try. It's incredible. And it says, yes, X49 is mind blowing after 60 days with X39 for muscle tone. Absolutely. I wish that I had known. So when I did fitness competitions, had I been using X49 as well, it would have been so helpful for me, because one of the things that really held me back, it's not that I was trying to have big muscles, but muscle tone, if you actually look at it, muscle tone is the difference between looking old, like having an older looking body and having a young looking body. It fills out your body. The right amount of muscle makes you look so terrific. And it's really hard to get, especially for ladies. I mean, obviously, we have some testosterone that drops as we age. So when you use something like X49 and you're trying to get a better physique, it is chef's kiss. It works so well. And Mo says, Mo, oh, this is so nice. Thank you, Mo. Mo says, thank you so much for these videos. Oh, thank you. That's such a nice compliment. Mo said, you're so beautiful and sweet. Thank you so much, Mo. I really appreciate that. That is very, very kind of you. And it actually means a lot to me. So thank you. And Mark says, and better everything with time. That's the thing. Yes, everything is better with time. And just the last thing that I just want to say is, try to enunciate. I've been using these patches now for, I think, a little bit over 2 years. It's been a while since I've been using these, and I'm still seeing improvements. So that just goes to tell you that if you try this for, 2 weeks or 4 weeks, that's your prerogative. But just know that your changes do roll out over time, and you have to troubleshoot the other things that you're doing in your life too. Our wellness is not just one thing. There are so many different things that make a big difference. I started wearing another one of LifeWave's patches because I really needed some digestive support too, because your digestion is ground zero. And even though I love the X39, I just needed a little bit of extra. So I added that. And then I also found a phenomenal supplement that made a big difference. It's not LifeWave, but it just made all the difference for me. So sometimes it's several things together. And, some people would look at that and say, oh, that's so much. Like, I can't believe you do that. Hey, if you have a Mercedes, you're going to take it in for an oil change. You're going to install new brakes when they wear out. Like, in my family, we always drove our cars to like 200,000 miles or more. My dad taught us to take great care of our cars and to, change the oil, to wax them, to make them beautiful. Why is it that God gives us a body? We get one body. We're born with one physical body. And why do we feel like taking care of it is too much? I hate the word privilege, I really do, but it is a privilege. It is such an honor to have a beating heart, to have functioning kidneys, to have every single thing, to wake up every single morning with your body and to have a chance at making it better is a beautiful, wonderful thing. And I just try to be grateful for having the opportunity. Like, if most of my money goes towards taking care of my body, what better thing? Like, what is more important? I would rather have clothes that are 10 years old and put everything into the thing that I want to be working as well as possible for the rest of my life, so that I can enjoy every day, not only at 49, but at 59, at 69. Hopefully I make it to 79. I really do. But I just hope that every one of those years can be the best, because I don't think people have to feel awful. I think that a lot of what we think of as normal aging is just mitochondrial dysfunction. Our bodies are slowing down. They're exposed to environmental things, stress, lack of sleep. And we don't listen to Dr. Mark Hyman. He will say, you don't have to feel this bad as you age. It's just because so many people tell you they feel bad does not mean that you have to feel bad too, but you have to find a way out of it. You have to find the things that work for you. And Mo says, true, I'm 57 and have quite a bit of muscle. I do work out 6 days a week. I've been on both 39 and 49 for 2 years. And think about how amazing that is to be 57, because what your body wants to do is it wants to lose muscle over time. So when you can maintain that muscle and even grow it, it's incredible. And Jesse said, indeed, on the benefit of other supplements and their benefits, I use methylene blue daily, and it too is fantastic for increased mental clarity. I've never tried that one, but I've heard such good things about it. I'm just so like ungodly scared of the staining I've seen when people have like methylene blue on their sinks and things like that. So if you have any good resources to learn about methylene blue, I'd love to learn about it. It's never been one of the things that I've tried, but I've heard it's amazing. There's some, if you really do your research, there's some very amazing things. And when you really go down the rabbit hole, it's amazing how some of the things that we are told are bad for us are actually good for us. It just depends how they're used. So there's a lot of interesting facts out there. So I hope this was helpful for you. I am going to call it a day. I'm going to feed my pets and I am going to go to the range today. And by the way, Jesse, I was at the range yesterday and I got my first compliment, and the range master said that I was really good. So I just want to share that. No one's ever told me that before. So pretty exciting. Guys, thank you so much for joining. It is really always so nice to see you. Please do not lose hope. Like, if you're trying to see improvements, keep going and troubleshoot, and know that not just about the patches, all successful people in life, they don't give up after one try. They don't give up after 1 week. They tried like 9 to 11 things to figure out what works. I've tried a lot of things in my journey for feeling better and getting better. And it's never just one thing. But the most important thing is keep going, keep trying, researching, figure out what works for your body. I believe that we can all feel our best. It just takes some time and effort. So thanks so much for joining me today. I hope everybody has a beautiful, beautiful day. And if you have not tried the patches before and you're looking for a brand partner, my information is in my description of the video. And I actually have a little info page. And for my new clients, there's a really, really special gift that I'm sending out. So check out my landing page. But anyway, thank you, everybody. It was really nice to see you. And I will be on next week as well. And yes, I will keep it flying, Jesse. I'm so proud of myself. It's really, really fun. I'm actually going to do some competitions soon because I didn't know that this was going to be such an awesome habit, but I go once or twice a week now, and it's my favorite thing. I just love it. I'm Annie Oakley, basically. So anyway, thanks, guys. It was great to see you, and have a beautiful day, and stay healthy and beautiful. And if you're not there yet, do not lose hope, because you can get there.